The song playing is called Invitation from the Guild. The song played on the title screen, and was quite warm and inviting. It was preparing you for the exotic adventure you were about to embark on. This series covers the evolution of music of Monster Hunter. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, please watch those first before this video. Generation 3 of Monster Hunter is the most nostalgic for me, and because of this, it's my favorite. It's the generation I started with. It's insane to believe it's been 9 years since its release. It feels like yesterday Monster Hunter was brand new. Because of this, the music of Generation 3 is my favorite, subjectively. And I guess for record, Generation 4 is my favorite objectively, whatever. Aside from that, how do I define Gen 3's soundtrack? Well, for starters, it takes the best from Gen 1 and Gen 2 and uses it as a base for a completely new set of musical tracks. They still have the Gen 1 classic orchestra, but it's constantly complemented by Gen 2's use of the exotic instruments and focus on percussion and flute. The best word I can use to describe Gen 3's soundtrack is warm, I guess. I don't know what they did in the mixing room, but every track has a lot of bass and like this nice comforting reverb to them. The composers of Gen 3 are listed as, again, I'm not going to butcher their names. Just like last time, only one was carried over from the last generation. While the aesthetics from the previous generations return, the mood and tone of the tracks are a bit different. Also, this is kind of obvious, but the actual quality of the music has significantly increased. Compare Proof of a Hero, the old one, and the new one. The battle music of Generation 3 is absolutely fantastic. Completely new maps designed from the ground up with fantastic, fast-paced, loud, and flowing battle musics to each of them. The use of percussion is superb. It's never been more intense. Even the most rudimentary of the battle tracks, the Deserted Island battle theme, is still one of my favorite tracks in the whole series. In Generation 1, the final boss music was incredibly generic. It was just the Forest and Hills battle music, but with a choir added. This song could very easily be transplanted into another medieval fantasy game, no problem. The progression since Generation 1 has been significant, and my favorite final boss track of all of Monster Hunter illustrates this. Cedius's theme, Moonquake, doesn't use brass or strings at all. It only uses intense percussion and the voice of the songstress, which was introduced last generation. Because of this, it lives and breathes itself. It was constructed from its own aesthetics alone. And it could not just be transplanted into another game. This is a Monster Hunter song. Another thing to note, whenever you battle underwater in the game, I think they added some kind of echo or Doppler effect to the music, so it kind of sounds like this. Maybe that's why they made it so bassy, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. There isn't much to say beyond this. It's a fantastic soundtrack that continues the aesthetic traditions built up from the last games. The main ending theme, To One With Life, invokes the feeling of peace and tranquility in this land of beasts. The equilibrium between predator and prey, hunting and gathering, people in the village. Monster Hunter has never been more beautiful than it is in Monster Hunter Tri, and it's as simple as that. Oh, wait, I forgot about Portable Third. Yeah, so Generation 3 consists of Monster Hunter 3 Tri, Monster Hunter Portable Third, then the expansion of Monster Hunter Tri, Monster Hunter Tri G. While the songs I showcased earlier related to Monster Hunter Tri and G, there was a whole other selection of musical tracks crafted solely for Portable Third, which went very specific on the musical influence. They made the most Japanese-sounding Monster Hunter game in the series. Almost stereotypically, the music sounds like it comes straight from Japan. Portable Third was important, not because it sold like hotcakes in Japan, but because it experimented with third generation a bit before they went ahead and they made Tri G. They brought in a monster whose musical track makes me redefine the instrument choice philosophy up until now. Zinogre uses the electric guitar in its battle theme. There truly isn't any rules on the soundtrack of Monster Hunter. They seem to use any instrument they want at any point they please. Furthermore, almost every song that relates to cats doesn't even fit in my triangle from the previous videos. In fact, this triangle only really works in Monster Hunter 1. A lot of my theories I kind of proposed earlier really don't work anymore. How does a cheerful farm song fit into this heroic, fearful, or ancient concept? These songs are just pleasant and happy. The selection of the infamous Scat Cat Fever songs are comedic in nature. Monster Hunter is cutesy and jokey at times. They don't need to play it safe anymore. On one hand, there's nothing wrong with a bizarre, cutesy cat song, as long as the soundtrack also has its fair share of ancient and exotic tracks. Although, if taken too far, it begins to lose the unique aesthetics it's been trying to build up, and that's something I do worry about. Last video I mentioned that the portable team and the main series team have differing opinions on Monster Hunter and its soundtrack. It's easiest described when you say, the main series is about exploring Monster Hunter. The portable series is about celebrating Monster Hunter. The reason why the portable series is more cutesy and outlandish is because it's a celebration at heart. Don't take it too seriously, I suppose. We'll discuss more on this on the next video, because the difference between Monster Hunter 4 and Monster Hunter Cross, or Generations, is much more significant.